channel. My name is Sonia and you're watching Domestic Diva DIY. Today I will be creating two DIYs for Thanksgiving, and they are both made out of wood, so wood Thanksgiving DIYs, and they had cost me $0 because I had everything on hand. Recently we took apart a deck and I had all this extra wood that I kind of saved up just for different DIY projects, so I had cut it up to size and just gave it a little sanding on the edges. I just didn't want to bore you with that or take you into my garage because you might never find me in there. But anyway, so I will be creating this one and then a different one which I will get to in a minute. But I also want to mention that this video is a part of a challenge hosted by my very dear friend Sandra from the Schwoman's Nest, and her co-host is DIYs and Crafts with Anna, and they're both wonderful DIYers. If you haven't had a chance to check them out, make sure you head on over to the description box where I have linked both of their channels, and I will also have the playlist for this challenge linked down below. The purpose of this challenge was a zero spend challenge, so they didn't want us to spend anything for the main DIY. So my main part of the DIY is wood, and I did not spend any money for it. If you wanted to embellish it with certain things and you needed to buy certain things, that was okay. In my case, I am not spending anything because I already had the stuff on hand. So for this one, I will be painting this one in 3 different colors, and those colors are brown, yellow, and orange. So for yellow and orange, I'm using acrylic paint, and then for the brown, because our dollar stores still don't have the acrylic paint, all the acrylic paint colors, I will be using the Rust-Oleum in Cocoa Bean, which is a really nice brown color, and this is chalk paint. So I'm going to get started with painting. So I'm going to paint my biggest one in brown, my middle one in orange, and the smallest one in yellow. So just to show you what the brown looks like. And I will also be using my, as I always do, my favorite Sharpie markers, and I always give white a try, but it never works out. So I'm gonna still give it a try for this project, but if it doesn't work out, I'm gonna use my chalk white. It's the chalk marker, so, and I'll use that instead of the white one, just because I find this one doesn't always show up very much, but you never know, things might change. So I'm going to get started with painting this. And again, because I like that rustic look, I'm not looking for extreme coverage, but I still want the brown to show up quite a bit. Just if I miss a spot here or there, it's not a big deal. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to move on my other colors. I think I'm going to add a touch of, maybe just a drop of black in here, just to darken it up a little bit. But I don't want to, I think I put too much now. I'm going to add a little bit more yellow. I just find it's a little bit too bright, almost green. Definitely was just looking for a drop, not a little bit more. So I'm thinking that this is more green than yellow, but I'm going to put a coat on it, and then I'm going to just add a couple drops. He's here, John! Of yellow on top. Let's see how this is. Still a little too green in my opinion. Okay, so I'm not loving this color, or actually it doesn't look bad on the camera. Maybe if I mix in a little bit of orange in here. Really not loving this color. I'm gonna let this dry and then maybe mix up another color and see how I like that, because I'm not loving that color. I think I should have not added that much green and the black in it. Just a little tiny drop would have been enough. So I'm gonna move on and just paint my middle one orange. That's pretty simple. I'll try and go back here and just maybe paint it a little bit more with just yellow. Okay, I think that's better. So there it is. So I'm gonna let all of these dry before I move on to the next step. So for my next project, I have cut up, I'm still working through all of these bed rails that I found on a street and picked up and brought home. Somebody was getting rid of them, and I thought these pieces of wood would be perfect for all these little DIYs. So I had cut them up. And this is just a piece of wood that I had. So I'm just going to paint the face of this just to darken it up there. And I'm going to let that dry. And then I'm just going to do a light coat on the edges of each one of these. As you can see, I only dipped it once. Okay, so I'm going to let all of these nicely dry. And while they're drying, so I have all of this cardstock that I have left over from just different scrapbooking projects. I had a huge book of Disney paper, so I'm just going to use, because I like this color. Then I have this pattern paper. I don't know if you can even see, another Disney cut paper, cardstock, some orange. These are all just left over from different projects. And I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to cut out, maybe I'll add one more. I had one more pattern here that I liked. And I can still, since I'm only cutting little pieces, I can still reuse them. I think I'm gonna use the 2 solid ones on the outside, and then the other ones are gonna go for the middle. Just going to trace it so I can cut it up. And I'm going to cut it a bit shorter so that brown shows as a border. So that one is for this, and I'm just going to remeasure it and make sure that I am showing the border. Cut a little bit more. Okay, so now I'm going to use Mod Podge to apply to glue these pieces to the wood. And the wood is pretty much dry. Okay, so I'm going to let these dry. And while they're drying, I'm going to just write some stuff over here. You can barely see it. Okay, so it says Thanksgiving. Try to do like a little turkey on the side here. I don't know if you can see that. So that's for that. And then once my blocks dry, I'm going to write on them as well. So this one is dry. And I'm going to write with my chalk marker. I don't think that'll fit, so I might use that to be the top and try over here again. Okay, so it says pumpkin pie. I'm just gonna go over it so it's a little bit more thicker. There we go. And then for this one, I'm gonna do stuffing. And then for this one, which side is the driest. I think it's this one. It'll be turkey. I just have to fit this in here. I'm gonna use this one, which is the black. Now I'm going to stack them up. I'm gonna use hot glue to glue them on. There we go. So this one had some time to dry. I'm going to take my letters and just see how I want them to be. I think I'm going to do them like this, and I'm going to write on them. I'm gonna use this marker, the chalkboard marker in black. Okay, and I'm going to glue it onto this. So I'm gonna start with this one, and I'm gonna glue it to the side of it, so like that. And when I was cutting this piece of wood, I did measure so all of these fit in here, and I didn't want it to be longer. So I'm hoping that they will fit. And then this one will go on the end, and I will show you how these look. So here they are, and I would like to thank Anna and Sandra for hosting this challenge, and make sure you check out their channels as well as the playlist that will be linked down below. And if this is your first time stopping by my channel, I would love it if you consider subscribing and pressing the notification bell so you don't miss out any of my future uploads. I love doing DIYs, and I also have a cooking and cleaning channel, which are all linked down in the description box. So until next time, hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching.